Welcome to the ValuePros Show, where Value Pros get value ready. Hi, my name is Bruce Scheer, the host of the ValuePros Show. In this episode, we are talking with Ginger Johnson, a high-energy keynote speaker, author, and expert in human connection. Ginger has spent years helping leaders and teams cultivate genuine connections that drive trust, collaboration, and business success. She's the author of Connectivity Canon and a sought-after speaker for organizations looking to create meaningful cultures of belonging. So today we're diving into a topic that's absolutely critical for sales success: how to connect with buyers. Research shows that 59% of the influence on a B2B buying decision comes from the experience buyers have, not just the product or service itself. That's why mastering connection is absolutely essential. Ginger will break down what true connectivity means, what it isn't, and how to build real trust in your sales relationships. Now let's jump in. Well, Ginger, I'm so excited to have you on the show today, the ValuePros Show. Thanks for being here. And I'm excited about this topic: how to connect with buyers for sales success. And Ginger, we had done this major study. We did a huge degree of secondary research looking at all the recent B2B buying studies out there. And we wanted to push into the B2B buying experience because it's right now, it's 59% of the influence on the buying decision, the B2B buying decision, actually comes from the buying experience. Only 41% of the influence on a B2B buying decision comes from the offering itself. So you've got to nail the experience. And most enterprise sellers and seasoned sellers, they know they matter. They're the ones that get the deals done at the end of the day, with everybody behind them supporting them, of course. But driving for a better B2B buying experience is just critical. So your topic on how to connect with your buyers for sales success is so critical. It's part of the three key pillars under gaining trust: trust and transparency, educational value, and then emotional connection. If you don't nail that, you're not going to get the subsequent buying conversations, or they're going to lead, it'll be a road to nowhere. Nobody's buying anything. You really need trust to establish that basis in order to proceed and have all those wonderful subsequent selling conversations, get on all the buyers on the bus so that buyer can buy. Right. And that's where your topic just really nails it. So you sent me the book, absolutely loved it, the Connectivity Canon. It's been one of my best friends. I've got it right here in my hand. It's nice, it's small, it's practical. Ginger even sends you a pencil with it so you can start marking the heck out of it. It's one of the best book packaging I've ever seen. I really loved it, Ginger. Super well done. But even more importantly, the content within, it'll move your heart and your mind and allow you to start making better connections in your world. So, Ginger, based on that setup, I'd like to kick it over to you just to give us some context on what is connectivity, just your definition of that, just to level set with us.
Absolutely. Connectivity is human-to-human contact, Bruce. It is knowing why you want to connect with somebody on purpose and with purpose. So sales buyer, offering, whatever it is, looking at who you want to be in the world, you want to focus on the human-to-human. I call it H to H, Bruce. It's the human-to-human connection. That's what it is. It feels good. It is positive energy. It is the get to want to of the connector's mindset that I teach to a lot.
Okay, awesome. So great definition. Love it. And then let's talk about what connectivity isn't.
Oh, Bruce, my friend. I know we've both been in the room, and I'm sure you fine listener have been in the room too, where you've gotten a card shove or a phone shove, like, let's do this. And it feels forced. It feels fake. It feels phony. That is not connectivity. That is not human to human. That's a numbers game. Now, I know we're talking sales, and sales absolutely relates to numbers and has everything to do with numbers in it. But what we want to do is we want to get rid of the have tos and the shoulds. It's kind of like a Dr. Seuss book. We want the get tos, want tos instead of the have to, should. So it's never fake, forced, phony. It's very genuine. Like, one of the things I have shared with you before, Bruce, that I really like about you is your ebullience, your buoyancy. That's what connectivity should feel like. It should never feel like a chore or a drag. And so connectivity isn't exactly the opposite of what connectivity is.
I love it. No, you conjured up in my mind. Have you ever been to a networking event and somebody's shaking your hand, but they're actually looking past you as they're shaking?
Oh, oh, it's so rude. Like, somebody better back there.
Yeah. No,
Oh,
that's not
man.
what connectivity is.
No, I'm not buying from you.
Absolutely not.
You're going to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
it
true.
makes me laugh. You know, when you talked about
Yeah.
the numbers game, et cetera, and speed networking and trying to work the room and all that stuff.
Mm,
Yeah, very, very often you can end up not fostering that sense of connection. So,
yeah.
so thanks
Yeah.
for
And
yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
one of the key points that you just brought into the room on this too, Bruce, is that networking is very different than connecting. So I want you to
Mm-hmm,
be
mm-hmm.
really, really clear. The connecting is the human part. The networking, think of network as a noun, it's a structure. And the connecting is the human interaction, it's the verb.
Oh, cool. Okay, got it. Love it. Well, let's get into the big why. You've got a lovely section in the book on this that really
Mhm.
lays this out, and how I was perceiving that really helps people get into the mindset. But please, Ginger, tell us, why connectivity?
Absolutely. Thanks, Bruce. When I decided to put the connectivity shingle out into the world, into this wild, wild world, I really wanted to get clear on my own reasoning why. Like, what is my purpose? What is the big deal that I want my life to be? Does it change over your life? Sure, it does. So your connectivity will evolve, you will grow, you will change. I mean, they're the same thing. There's transformation there. All those are the same thing. So why do we want to focus on human connectivity? Because number one, when we know ourselves best, then we can get to number two, which is to get to know other people better. And then number three, it goes out to the community. The way I teach this often, Bruce, is a self-team community. It's a ripple. We throw that pebble in or that boulder in. Once we're really solid in what we really want to be in this world, not necessarily what we want to do, but who we want to be, then the what we want to do, boy, there's more ease, there's more enthusiasm, your body feels better, your brain's all clicking up and firing off, and people are magnetized by that kind of charisma, to use one of your words. When people
Hmm.
are really solid in who they are, their connectivity is really strong. They are who they are. Now, I'm not talking about arrogance or anything that is kind of not helpful. I'm talking about this core feeling of, God dang it, life is great and there's a lot of possibilities. This is who I want to be. And then what will I do?
I love it. What are some of the attributes, some of the words that you'd use to describe that? Confidence came to mind to me just now.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Confidence is huge. And for the record, it's not somebody else's to give you. You've got it. You get to exercise confidence. It's a skill that comes from having the courage to get into something, Bruce. We
Mhm.
need to know that we are capable in our own unique way to do the thing that we say we want to do. So when we do, it's a double helix, right? We start doing it and it starts swirling and our confidence starts increasing and we think, oh my gosh, and one thing leads to another. But it's not an all of a sudden or an overnight. It's because we have diligently said, this is who I want to be. And therefore, this is how I'm going to build. In the connectivity canon, I have the framework, the elements of connectivity. I that came to being because I had friends who said, Ginger, you can walk into a room and talk to anybody. Or Ginger, you know everybody when you walk in a room. And I mean, my first reaction, Bruce, is like, I'm glad it looks that way. But my
Mm.
second reaction was, oh, that's interesting. What do people want from that statement? So that framework is literally a very simple ladder of how do I connect so that I want to be the person I want to be fully? How do I connect so that other people are drawn to me? You talk about sales. Sales loves marketing because if we do both of them right, Bruce, it's a magnet.
Mhm.
People realize that you have something that fulfills a need, not
Mhm.
just a want. And it
Mhm.
doesn't matter if it's a huge solution or a tiny solution, they're all solutions. And
Mm.
connectivity, just like in the electronic and fiber world, that is the conduit that helps us then keep going and keep growing.
Awesome. Awesome. Any other single words? Confidence. I was thinking of curiosity, as
Yes.
well.
Yes. Confidence, curiosity, courage is a goodie. Mindset is really, really powerful, as you and I both know. There is a willingness in the connector's mindset, which is positive, objective, and willing. There's three great words for you. When we line those up and stack them together, then we have an unstoppability to ourselves. If we frame ourselves in the positive, what's possible, what's good, and we go into objectivity, we suspend judgment because who, I don't think anybody thinks we need more judgment. When we suspend judgment, then the possibilities really start to flourish. And then the willingness, just like a CEO, just like an HR director, just like a sales director wants somebody who is willing to say, "Oh, that's how we're going to do it. Okay, let's get in there and do it." That willingness, Bruce, is very, very powerful because what we do is we drop any ego and we say, "All right, here I am. Let's see what we can make happen together."
Cool, cool. Okay, all right. Is that what we wanted to say about the big why behind this? Anything else, Ginger, before we move on to some practicals on this?
I would I would encourage people to really really focus on the personal resonance, excuse me.
Yeah.
I'd encourage people to really focus on personal resonance because connectivity guides everything. And when we know what our why is, then everything moves differently. It's usually better because we understand what we're doing in this world based on who we want to be, based on our own connection and therefore connection with other people. So it's pretty straightforward. You got to listen to yourself. And the best teams, the best sales teams especially, have a cohesion of purpose. There's a mitochondria, if you will, in the middle of that unites us all.
I love it. I love it. It reminds me of me talking with my son when he was on the job hunt. I was telling him, son, the universe will provide.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Problem is, the universe doesn't know what you want.
Right. I'm your dad.
What's your why? And if you
Yes.
can articulate that and exude that, hey man,
Yes.
it is like a magnet. The
Yes.
universe will provide. People will
Yes.
provide. It just happens.
You're so true. And you're so right, Bruce. One thing I would encourage people who are listening also is that, like, well, that feels really big and it feels really intimate. Yes. And yes. So, you know what? You don't have to share the really personal version with other people. You can share what version feels best for you. Like, I know what my vision is. It's not on my website, it's not in any of my materials. It is to connect the world. That is how I feel about my work. That's my why. And then my execution, my implementation is everything else that everybody sees.
Yeah, my why. I do articulate that. I think it's on my LinkedIn profile, on our website, et cetera. Boy,
Mhm.
I coined it with a couple of guys, and a gentleman named Ailey Judge actually helped me, and just answering the question, "What's your why?"
Yeah.
And mine
Whew.
is to inspire others, and
Mhm.
it's always kind of in the back of my mind, a filter of why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Why am I? We met through the National Speakers Association. Why am I volunteering for 5 years now, Ginger, on the board, et cetera? But my why is to inspire others. Hence, even the ValuePros Show that we're on today. I'm hoping
Right.
people will get this message about how to connect with others, to improve your sales performance,
Mhm.
and that delights me. That inspires others
Yeah.
to inspire others. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Cool, cool. Well, let's turn the corner then. And Ginger, if you could just talk to us about the how to connect, just ideas there, and some, strategically, practically, anything you've got to offer.
Absolutely. 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 The how to connect really is going to get robust, be what you want it to be. If you focus first on the connector's mindset, that's that positive, objective, and willing. If you're willing to live in that space, that's going to be your launch pad. That's your fuel. Once you are thinking in that way, because I know you and I were talking about mindset before, and we've talked about it in previous conversations, sales can feel like the wrong profession if we're not focused on our why, if we're not focused on truly connecting with people, because the widget, the thing, the solution, that's the academic part. Yes, it's part of it, but let's make sure we know how to connect. So in this day and age when we're recording this, and frankly forevermore, some of the keys to connecting is number one, make the first move. How to connect? Make the first move. This is waving at your neighbor. This is waving to other people in cars, on the street. This is giving somebody a greet. This is very common civility, Bruce. We will build more common ground when we remind ourselves that it is age to age. It's human to human, one person at a time. Pants go on the same way. we're Nobody is better than another person. So starting with that connector's mindset and then making the first move, being willing. My fine husband, who I adore, and I moved to a new town, Great Missoula, Montana, a little over 3 years ago. And it's been really interesting, Bruce, to be the new kid in the neighborhood again. It's been a huge refresher of like, what does it take to actually connect? Now, like you, I'm pretty outgoing. Some of that's a practice. Some of that is who I have chosen to become. All the same, you're going to feel some things once in a while. First time I volunteered, I'm like, oh, okay, this is what it feels like to be new again. Taking that first move, making that step, opening the door, exercising courtesy, asking simple questions that get somebody else talking. Those are some of the best and simple and classic how-tos for Connect. Another really important piece is to think about the different whys in the road that we get to. This is in my framework in the connectivity canon, and it's to part of what I teach to with leaders and teams and from keynote stages. There's a why in the road. It's a choice point, as I call it, Bruce. We can either stay or we can go. Notice I didn't say stop or go. We can stay and keep going, which the next step is pursue your path. What do you want that to be? Make that happen. Maybe there's another why, probably is. Or you can go, this isn't the right thing for me. This isn't the right buyer. This isn't the right moment. I need a different solution, whatever that might be. As long as, like you teach to, the pillars are intact, like trust is huge in connection.
Mm-hmm.
People can smell untrustworthiness a mile away. We know what it feels like. We know what it looks like. So making the first move, being willing to say that I'm at a choice point, that's not a judgment point, Bruce. That's a point where we say, is this where I'm going to continue or is this where I'm going to turn? And so I really think that that's an important piece. I love sales, and I'm not saying that to pander to anybody listening to this. I love sales because sales is symptomatic of service. When we help somebody seek and find, when we inspire people to inspire people, that's the sale. That's the success. That's symptomatic of us being a good human, of us wanting to connect, of us connecting in an authentic way. So those are some of the bigger pieces. We pursue our path, and the absolute key to any success, especially in sales, especially in connection, is what I call FUFT. Follow up, follow through. It's in the book, of course. It's something that I teach to. If you want to step ahead, you want to be world-class, you want to be category of one, you want your customers to be like, your only person I'm going to is Bruce. I only need Bruce. He's got it all. I trust him. Like everything is intact. Follow up and follow through. They are different pieces. The follow up is the immediate action upon the connection, the contact. What am I going to do now that we've had a phone call? What am I going to do now that we're back from the conference? What am I going to do now that the first order has been placed? What am I going to do now that we met at the coffee shop? And then the follow through is the care and nurturing. It's really the long-term picture. And Bruce, you and I both know that that's truly the key to a successful sales career. If you are as good as your reputation, you have followed up and followed through as a part of your DNA, as a part of who you are as a person. It's enormously connective. It's like our fascia in our body. If we don't follow up and follow through, we're going to get stiff. We're going to get creaky. We're not going to be able to go dancing. All the things we want to do. So we've got to keep that limber. It sets us apart. And I can tell you that it's a hallmark for how I do business. The follow up and follow through is a non-negotiable. I want people to know that they are seen, valued, and heard. That is an enormous part of human connection, to help people know they're not just an order. They're not just an email. They are a human. And we must remember that if we want to even start thinking about how do we connect.
Absolutely. Oh, I love a lot of the distinctions you've made. Ginger, you'll find this interesting. Mark Hunter, the sales hunter, was on the show as well. And he gave me a distinction that I can't unhear. And it's sales is not something you do to someone. Sales is something you do for someone. And that distinction's all about, like you said, sales is an extension of service at the end of the day. That's what you're doing. And to serve, you need to get everything in motion. You, them, everybody behind them, et cetera. As part of that service, you need to get everything moving. And I love the follow-up and follow-through paradigm around that. Just, hey, we're going to go on a journey together, a buying journey. And at the end of that day, we're all going to win. but we need to get
Right.
going and
Yes.
really moving through the critical stages of that journey and having a valuable experience at every critical touch point. And that's where I
Yes.
started off with the B2B buying index. Those are the touch points that you really need to
Right.
nail in order to build
Right.
that trust and that momentum to
Yes.
consummate a deal and help that customer, serve that customer by allowing them to achieve the value that's expected.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Bruce. And here's a little side note. If you have ever connected with somebody and your intentions were good, the fit was right, and you've forgotten about them. Maybe it was in the days of business cards, you still get business cards, you stash them in the drawer and forget about it. You come across that email that got buried. You come across them like, oh no, I totally forgot to follow up with Bruce. Here's the thing. Be kind to yourself and still follow up. We have all done this. I have people who I've heard from like 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. I just went to dinner the other night on one of my trips with somebody I met, oh gosh, I'm going to say 8 years ago. She sent me a connection request on LinkedIn, like, Ginger, I don't know if you remember me and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, Erica, of course I remember you. We were at a Chamber of Commerce together. Like, it was such a day maker, Bruce. So don't beat yourself up because we all drop small balls once in a while. The key then, especially in sales, is to pick it up and acknowledge, Erica, I'm so sorry. This got buried. I don't have a good excuse. Can we reinvigorate? Being humble has everything to do with being effective in sales and being a really strong, authentic connector.
Absolutely. Hey, have you heard that story or the quote? I was trying to tie this back, and I think it was Theodore Roosevelt, believe it or not, it comes up most often as the person attributed to this quote. But people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Mm,
Remember that?
mhm.
And
Yes.
that is so powerful, like you're saying, kind of picking up that ball
Yes.
again and reconnecting.
Yes.
That is showing that you care. And also
Yes.
for me, being self-serving, very often I'm curious, hey, time's gone by. What's going
Yes.
on in their life
Yes.
today?
Yes.
What's new, for better, for worse, but just checking in and
Yes.
reconnecting, seeing what we can do
Yes.
for each other and at a new time, new place.
Absolutely, Bruce. The epidemic of loneliness and disconnect was documented well before the pandemic. We're going through a different stage right now in our world. I mean, we always are. That could be a truism, no matter. But what I'm seeing is a boomerang. And this example, like we're just talking about, Bruce, is part of the boomerang. We've reached a certain breaking point, and just like bone then heals, and it can be even stronger if we own up to our humanness, because everybody has. And also, is if you're a sales leader especially, and you've got other people looking to you, that is behavior, that is leadership behavior, because you're trying to be a good human. You don't have to apologize for dropping something. You simply say, nuts, let's start this again. And there are so many good, kind, gracious ways to engage and to re-engage. So that grace, and like I teach, grace and space. Like, start with yourself, give yourself some grace and space, give other people grace and space, because you want to build a world-class sales team, you want to have a world-class sales team, you want to be on one, then continue to perpetuate that feeling of we're all truly in this together and we are better together when we're focused on the power of human connection.
I am telling you. Yeah, you just conjured up an old story for me. Really, really good friend of mine, former head of Disney Consumer Products for Asia Pacific. And we had both founded the same organization, funny enough, a not-for-profit. I refounded it after him, but we became quite bonded. But during the Asian crisis, that was in the late 90s, he had to lay off a whole bunch of people.
Oh,
And he
mm.
had his executive assistant create a spreadsheet so they could track what was happening with those
Oh,
people
yeah.
after
So
they were
good.
laid off so he could stay connected with them.
Yes.
And his heart was just going out to them big time.
Yes.
Had to make a
Yes.
hard business decision, but also wanted to help his people be successful and
Yeah.
actually tracked and for that. Thanks
Yes.
for helping me remember that story. Powerful.
Yeah. Yes. When we don't do that too, like your friend did, Bruce, That's where a lot of not just malaise, that's where a lot of our mental well-being can really spiral. There were several industries, as we know. I work a lot with the events and exhibitions industry too. 80% furlough and layoff. Brutal. And as long as we stay connected, like you call me and Ginger, wow, I see that your facility shut down. I'm here. You want to talk about anything? Is there anything, can I bring you some cookies? Can I decide? I'm thinking about you. That is incredibly powerful,
Yeah.
and so simple. And we're all capable of doing that.
That is human, as you say, human to human, big time.
Yes, sir.
Well, hey, Ginger, we should probably round the corner here. And are there any other thoughts that you might have just in conclusion for this brief interaction that we've had? Of course, we'll ask everybody to connect with you, but any other kind of closing thoughts you have that you'd like to leave us with?
Yeah, I'll leave you with a goodie that's pretty evergreen and especially prescient right now. Think about how connection builds common ground. We think we are this far apart when in actuality, we're this far apart. We share the same values. We all have different versions of those values. So whether you're in sales or you're the seller, the buyer, whatever, manufacturing, wherever you're at in the ecosystem, keep in mind that when we think we have a disagreement, we actually are simply trying to find the common ground. So focusing on the values, have the small talk. You can't have the big talk without the small talk, friends. And so make sure that you get better at having conversations that can build rapport. Rapport builds trust. Trust, we know where that goes. But your pillows really illustrate that well, Bruce.
Yeah.
So think about the common ground, how we will always have more alike than we have differences, and we will pull back together. We will do some really big work, healing nations, communities, cities, relationships, and we will be able to thrive more. We will be able to have better businesses because we're focused on the fact that we have so much in common and we're all trying to be our best person.
Yep. Good. Thank you. Lovely summary. I would just say, and this all starts with connection. It's just such a critical thing, and very often I'd argue is a blind spot that it really begins here. So Ginger, thanks a lot. I want to encourage everybody here, certainly pick up the fantastic book I'm holding in my hand. It's wonderful, Connectivity Canon. And then connect with Ginger. I've got her beautiful LinkedIn profile here for people watching this. But you'll just, your LinkedIn for us, Ginger, is, let me just see here. Ginger Johnson Connector is what you could type in to find Ginger on LinkedIn. And then if you go to Ginger's website, gingerjohnson.com, Ginger, you were telling me there's a newsletter they can become part of.
Absolutely. And that comes out on the regular, and I give all kinds of insights. I base it on my own research, on my experiences, on what people share with me. I share other resources as well. So it's a goodie. It's not a flood. It's a fuel.
Awesome. Well, hey, this has been a really fun episode with you, and just really appreciate the time and you sharing with the audience today, Ginger. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, Bruce. It's always good to share time together. Thanks so much. We'll see you soon.
You bet. Wow, what an insightful conversation with Ginger Johnson. A few key takeaways really stood out. First, true connectivity is about human-to-human connection. It's not about pushing for a transaction, but creating an authentic bond. Second, the power of trust and emotional connection in sales cannot be overstated. Buyers need to feel seen, valued, and heard before they'll engage in meaningful conversations. And finally, follow up and follow through are the hallmarks of a great connector. Staying engaged and showing you care over time makes all the difference. One of the things I personally loved about this discussion was Ginger's emphasis on the connector's mindset, being positive, objective, and willing. It's such a powerful framework for building relationships in both business and life. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe to the ValuePros Show. And if you're feeling kind, leave a review so others can find and enjoy it too. See you next time.